Staff Sergeant Ryan C. Knapp, Marine Corps Staff Sergeant Darren T. Hoover Jr., Marine Corps Sergeant Johnny Rosario Pichardo, Marine Corps Sergeant Nicole L. G., Marine Corps Corporal Hunter Lopez, Marine Corps Corporal Vegas W. Page, Marine Corps Corporal Roberto A. Sanchez, Marine Corps Lance Corporal David L. Espinoza, Marine Corps Lance Corporal Jared M. Schmidt, Marine Corps Lance Corporal Rayleigh J. McCollum, Marine Corps Lance Corporal Dylan R. Marola, Marine Corps Lance Corporal Kareem M. McCoy. May their families and communities find the purpose to move forward during this time of grief. We will now take a moment of silence. Thank you all, and thank you to the public and to my colleagues. Now, members, I would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you can. And colleagues, please unmute your mics and join me. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Someday. Thank you, members. Now, moving on to item 3, as indicated on the posted agenda, we'll be taking telephonic public comments separately for our regular agenda items and public hearing items during today's meeting. The Executive Office of the Board received over 1,500 written public comments for today's meeting. And as those written comments were received, all of them are available to the supervisors for their consideration. This is consistent with the Brown Act requirements. We will continue to receive written public comments throughout the meeting, which will become part of the official record. Madam Executive Officer, please call the agenda.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Board. Today's agenda will begin on page 2, set matter 10:30 a.m. Item S1 is a discussion of the public health order related to COVID-19. This item will be held for discussion. On page 2, this is the agenda for the Los Angeles County Development Authority. Item 1D is an addition as indicated on the supplemental agenda. On page 3, public hearing items 1 through 8. On item 8, the Director of Regional Planning requests that this item be taken off calendar as indicated on the posted agenda. The remaining items will be held for hearing. On page 7, consent calendar, Board of Supervisors, items 9 through 23. On item 9, this includes an addition as indicated on the supplemental agenda. On item 10, Supervisor Hahn requests that this item be held. On item 17, Supervisor Hahn requests that this item be referred back to her office as indicated on the supplemental agenda. On item 18, Supervisor Barter requests that this item be held. This includes the revision as indicated on the supplemental agenda. On item 19, Supervisor Solis requests that this item be held. This includes the revision as indicated on the supplemental agenda. On page 15, Administrative Matters, items 24 through 47. On item 24, the Chief Executive Officer requests that this item be continued to September 15, 2021, as indicated on the posted agenda. On page 25, this includes miscellaneous additions to the agenda, which were posted more than 72 hours in advance of the meeting, as indicated on the supplemental agenda. On item 45A, Supervisor Hahn requests that this item be held. On item 45F, Supervisor Solis requests that this item be continued 2 weeks to Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. The request for items to be taken off calendar, referred back, or continued through 45H are before you.
Moved by Supervisor Barger, seconded by myself to approve these items. That will be the order.
On page 26, ordinance for introduction. On page 27, separate matter. This item relates to item 25. On item 49, Supervisor Mitchell would like her vote to be recorded as no. On page 28, notice of closed session. That completes the reading of the agenda, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We will now take public comments for all agenda items, excluding public hearing items 1 through 7. Madam Executive Officer, please read in the call-in information that was also provided on the agenda and explain the speaking rules to those members of the public who are calling in due to the loss of the board.
As indicated on the agenda, members of the public wishing to offer public comment should call 877-226-8163 and use participant code number 133-6503. To repeat, please call 877-226-8163 and use participant code number 133-6503. Do not call that number if you only want to listen to the meeting. To listen only, please call 877-873-8017 and follow the instructions. To members of the public calling in, when it's your turn to speak, please state your name and which agenda items you wish to speak on. You have 1 minute to speak on one agenda item or 2 minutes to speak on 2 or more agenda items. In addition, those who would like to address the board with general public comment will be provided 1 additional minute for a maximum total up to 3 minutes. We will allocate up to 60 minutes for public comment on all of the items, excluding the public hearing items. If there are no speakers waiting before 60 minutes have lapsed, we will close public comment. We will continue to accept all written comments that come in during the meeting, which will become part of the record. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you're not speaking on a topic, or if we cannot tell if you're speaking on an agenda item, you will get 1 warning from County Council or the Chair. If you do not immediately or clearly get on topic or be straight off topic again, you will forfeit the rest of your time and the Chair will move to the next speaker. Please note, if you're also listening to the board meeting on a computer or speakerphone, you will need to turn down the volume on those devices as soon as the moderator calls on you. If you do not turn down the volume, there will be an echo. Moderator, you can have the first speaker, please.
As a reminder, to address the board, if you have not already done so, please press 1 and then 0 at this time. Do not press 1 and 0 a second time, or you will be removed from the queue.
Thank you. We will now hear the Spanish interpretation of this reminder.
Como recordatorio, para dirigirse a la Junta, si uno no ha hecho, presione 1 y luego 0 en este momento. No presione 1 y 0 por segunda vez o será eliminado de la fila. Gracias.
Thank you. May we have the first speaker, please?
Our first participant is Elen. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, my name is Ellen. I'm a resident of District 5, and I'm speaking today on agenda items 18, 19, 34, and general public comment. For agenda items 18 and 34, I would like to state my support. This on 18, the caveat that the board follow the changes and adopt those changes before adopting the recommendation. Instead of filling seats in the Bureau of Victim Services, the board should be investing those funds into community-based services for survivors. Any victim services representatives should be people with lived experience who are survivors of harm themselves. Both probation and the DA's office have proven to be inefficient in actually disseminating restrictions funds to survivors. And the AB 109 funding for survivors should be in conjunction with pretrial services to support survivors through the pretrial process. With regards to agenda item 19, I support this and the United States involvement in Afghanistan destabilized the region for 20 years. Now the withdrawal of American troops, both poorly planned and executed, and the Taliban's subsequent takeover has put millions of Afghans' lives at risk, particularly U.S. allied Afghans and those at risk because of gender identity or sexual orientation. As the nation responsible for destabilizing Afghanistan for decades through military occupation and imperialism, we have an equal responsibility to extend help to Afghans at risk because of it. The county must take the steps outlined in this motion to ensure the safety of incoming Afghans. The Afghan Refugee Task Force must coordinate county resources and fund community-based organizations and immigrant legal aid groups, such as Immigrant Defenders, Trans-Latino Coalition, and the newly formed LA Immigrant Legal Defense Fund to provide services to incoming Afghans. This motion would send a letter to the U.S. Secretary of State announcing the Afghan Refugee Task Force and how it will stand ready to work with the federal government. This is an opportunity for the county to lobby for further evacuation and humanitarian relief. Currently, tens of thousands of Afghans are trapped at Kabul airport trying to flee the crisis, and the U.S. is sitting idly by, even actively blocking refugees from entering the airport. The U.S. should waive visa filing fees for Afghans, remove caps and limitations for incoming Afghan refugees, expand eligibility for SIVs and other visas, and provide humanitarian relief to those trapped at Kabul airport and those sheltering in place in Afghanistan. If the county is to work with the federal government, we must advocate for what is right. We'd like to also add the several thousand green cards that were set aside for the translators and their families who have still not been given shelter here.
Thank you. Your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker comes from the line of Genavive. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. This is Dr. Genevieve Travel. I am on 1S. Again, this item needs to be kind of modified and so on. On 19, I am in favor of supporting the refugees who came, especially Americans. On the 24, I am concerned that we will postpone again. It will be extremely important to know what the priority of the board is. On 25, I am in favor of the blue ribbon stacking, and also item 49, on Mary Wickham be assigned to work with the county with the blue ribbon commission. That would be great. And 34, the report from the Inspector General should not be received and filed. It should be dealt with and gone over with publicly. Anyway, when are you going to reopen the board to human beings so we can see each other again and have more impact on what's going on in the country? Please reopen to the public. Thank you. Have a good week. Bye.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next speaker will come from the line of Samantha Mathews. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Great, thank you. My name is Samantha Mathews from the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments, and I am commenting on item 25 and general public comment. I wanted to thank Supervisors Barker and Solis and county staff for the continued work on establishing the Blue Ribbon Commission on Homelessness. We applaud this effort to bring municipal stakeholders from across the county to the table to ensure an ideal governance structure is in place to address the countywide homelessness crisis. So it's great to see that the staffing plan on the agenda today. We are looking forward to the first meeting taking place in September. And thank you again for taking the time to truly bring together, provide representation of, and provide a voice for the diverse perspectives of the 88 cities in the county. Together we can strengthen our homeless services system and make continued progress on the biggest challenge we face. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from line of Nathan Ignacio. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, good morning. I'm commenting on agenda item 1, the public health order, to oppose. So for those not aware, the Board of Supervisors has mandated vaccination for county workers and is seeking to expand that mandate. Now, the fact that the supervisors have definitely worked hard to get people to access to vaccines, or that they've supported policies that they believe will keep people safe, is not the problem. Those are good things. The problem is that they treat us like children, employees, and peasants. They bribe people with taxpayer-funded giveaways and junk food to get the vaccine. So their priority does not seem to be fiscal responsibility or health or science. As such, while I support the availability of vaccines, I oppose the current and proposed mandates. And I want to point out that elected officials don't care about science or about the limits to their own power. They don't care about learning from their mistakes, as evidenced by LA County having some of the strictest measures in the county to combat, the country, to combat COVID-19, yet still having no end in sight. These elected officials and all others only care about one thing, and it's getting and staying elected. And Angelinos are showing more than
Your time
ever.
has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Thank you.
Our next speaker will come from the line of Carlos Montez. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, good morning. Regular public comment and motion number 22. My name is Carlos Montez. I live in Boyle Heights. I'm with the Community Service Organization, CSO. I want to first commend Supervisor Solis for making the motion to commemorate the National Chicano Moratorium. I am an activist in the Chicano Moratorium days. Myself and a large number of Brown Berets community groups had the first Chicano Moratorium December 20th, 1969 from Boyle Heights to Stella to protest the high casualty rate of the young men in Vietnam. Several of the young men that I graduated high school were sent to Vietnam, recruited by the Marines, and came back traumatized and died of drug overdoses or came back in coffins. So every 5, 10, 15 years, we commemorate the Chicano Moratorium. But we also say that the struggle continues to oppose current U.S. wars like Afghanistan and Iraq. But we also raise the issue of, and I want to thank Supervisor Solis for working with the community to expose and denounce the LA Sheriff's killings of our young men that continues today here in East LA. So this Sunday, we united with hundreds of young men and women, teenagers, high school students, to commemorate and say the struggle continues. We call it the Chicanx Moratorium. We had a big rally in the march in East LA. We had Congresswoman Maxine Waters come out in solidarity for Black and Brown solidarity. And we would have hoped that Solis had joined us. But this is a new generation of young activists that are carrying on the legacy of the Chicano Moratorium. This is a protest against war and racism. This is not a nostalgia reminiscing of what people did 50 years ago or 51 years ago. This is an ongoing struggle. So, I urge all the Board of Supervisors to please vote for motion agenda number 22, and of course I support also agenda number 19. The U.S. invasion and occupation.
May we have the next speaker, please?
Thank you. And as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you do wish to address the board, please press 1 and 0 at this time. Do not press 1 and 0 a second time, or you'll be removed from the queue. Our next participant will be Luis Fuentes. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, I'm addressing agenda topic number 22. I do support in favor of commemorating the Chicano Moratorium because the demands of 50 years ago are still relevant today when our people are still getting killed by the sheriffs and the LAPD. So it is important to highlight this day in order to, for us, in order for our folks in East LA and neighboring areas know about about this history and the ongoing struggle against police brutality and racial inequality, along with inadequate education that is in our public schools, and we want better funding for public schools, and against the wars that the U.S. goes and invades. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Ken Azate. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to make a general public comment on the indoor mask mandate policy. My name is Ken Azate. I'm an attorney. I'm making a motion for the LA County Supervisors and the health officer to terminate the indoor mask mandate policy. You may all be immune from the COVID, but you're not immune from the law. I intend to take legal action against all of you for fraud on the public by allowing this local health emergency, which has no grounds, no evidence to show any emergency condition beyond the control of the services and facilities of this county, no shortage of PPI, medicine, shortage of equipment, facilities, or any evidence of requests for help from any other counties. Are you aware that unless you terminate this local health emergency by vote, you're breaking the law? You're required to do so by California Emergency Services Act, California Government Code 8630D, and Health and Safety Code 101080. You cannot allow this to stay. It must be terminated at the earliest date possible, which is now. You work for the public, and the public demands that you terminate the indoor mask mandate forthwith.
Thank you. Your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Sheradon. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, my name is Brian Sheridan. I'm with the Coalition for Clean Air, and I just wanted to thank Supervisors Mitchell and Solis for agenda item number 10, Clean Air Day in Los Angeles County. California Clean Air Day has been going on this is its fourth year, and it's been an incredibly powerful way of getting people to take action for clean air. In fact, when people take the Clean Air Pledge, 97% of them actually follow through. And so here in the most polluted, unfortunately, county in really the United States, it's incumbent upon all of us to take action for clean air. And so I just want to thank, again, Supervisors Mitchell and Solis, and also Supervisor Hahn for her amendment in support of California Clean Air Day, which is October 6th, 2021, and I hope that all of us come together for a common cause of clean air in Los Angeles. Thank you all.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Roy Humphreys. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Okay, I want to speak on items 19, 25, and 30 through 33 and general comment. And first of all, on the Afghanistan, the prior person speaking about the Afghans and so forth, it's a very laudatory comment, but there's not rooted in the reality. We haven't no money to deal with the present situation and the catastrophe at the southern border, let alone take care of anything else, although we do have duties and responsibilities. And there's not enough money for widening Fullerton Road here in Rowland Heights. And you want to talk about money, and the federal government cannot continue to print money that they don't have, and the long-term impact of that is just huge. On items 30 through 33, if there is any legacy IT, that's information services, intelligence, computers within the Los Angeles County in the year of 2021, all of those department heads should be terminated immediately with prejudice. And as to the general public comment, we note from Glenn Gillette that power over fellow man is the primordial and greatest single driving urge of all mankind virtually from womb to tomb, and the Los Angeles County seizing power by creating and maintaining the largest welfare state of total dependency with no incentive to leave that state a la 1984 is the demise of America and California. We pray that after midterms and the removal of Newsom and Gascon, the Gang of Four will be no more, along with a criminal sanctuary state. The failure of the supervisors' crews to come to public meetings prepared to address salient issues, i.e. men's jail replacement and statute measure J, which has been declared unconstitutional, just goes to the lack of efficacy of our county government. But when all else fails, we can build another $1 million dog park. Thank you. With a criminal sanctuary state, the failure of the supervisors' crews to come to public meetings prepared to address salient issues, i.e. men's jail replacement and statute measure J, which has been declared unconstitutional, just goes to the lack of efficacy of our county government. But when all else fails, we can build another $1 million dog park. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Don Barry. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, my name is Dawn, and I am commenting on Agenda 1, and I guess it would be a public comment. I am against any and all health mandates that require being forced to take an injection that contains experimental poisons such as mRNA, graphene oxide, and the spike proteins, which are causing blood clots. You have data that shows that the animal trials, the animals have been killed, or not killed, but they've been killed by this injection. And the humans who have been tricked into taking it, there's data showing that thousands of them have died. And hundreds of thousands of them have had extremely bad side effects. And everybody is suppressing this information, and you are wanting to force it on everybody. And I am so against that. My body, my choice, right? So you guys are all pro-choice. Well, everybody should have a choice. We are Americans. We are citizens. We are not your guinea pigs. We are not your children. And you need to treat us as such because you work for us. We don't work for you. Please remember that. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
And again, as a reminder, if you wish to address the board, if you have not already done so, please press 1 and 0 at this time. Not press 1 and 0 a second time or you'll be removed from the queue. Our next speaker will come from the line of Eric Previn, please, and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Thank you. I'll do both. I'll address on general public comment and on several items, including 49 and 9 and, several. So I'll just get to it quickly, okay? So, first of all, thanks for finally coming back to work. I think it's important to hold regular meetings, not special meetings that are closed. And I've looked at the Office of Inspector General's report, which, is as good a reason not to have a blue ribbon commission on homelessness as any other. I mean, what a waste of... First of all, thank you for reporting that there have been 258 commendations for the Sheriff's Department. This is great news over the period. And 196 personnel complaints. That's certainly easy to package up and make sense of. But guess what? There have only been 65 service complaints, so this means the plumbing and the wiring must be improved. I mean, that's just not what we need. We need, and what I did find in there also is that you're still using tasers in custody after the Dupree case, which cost us $4.25 million and an enormous Rancho bill, where we, in an inhumane manner, tased a chap off the upper bunk and broke his back. So let's not do that. Let's not. I don't think tasers are the answer, folks. And I noticed Sheila's on what that's about. But putting in Mary Wickham as you're proposing at item 49 to sit at the Blue Ribbon Commission is such a robust slap across the face of the public after a terrible job as county council, where she presided over the Skip Miller Verandas LLP, overstuffing like a Thanksgiving turkey. Why did we pay for the church lawsuit where we brought a public health action against the church? Why did we spend $900 and something thousand with his firm, Skip Miller's firm, and not report it in the LA Times? It's nice that we're paying the church $400,000 in settlement. It's weird, frankly, and then the state's paying $400,000. This comes out of the public health budget. So let me be very clear. We have a lot of unmet public health needs. The spending it on Skip Miller, while, no disrespect to PC Davenport, but as the CEO, I'm asking you politely to disclose all the money paid to Skip's firm. You're leaving out all of the activities, like telling Judge Carter that you're all doing a great job with the homeless crisis. He charges for that. You need to tell us how much. And he charges to tell us to give Sachi Amai, your BFF, $1.5 million as she walks out the door. He charges for that. We need to know. You can't say we don't know, because you do know. And you're not telling us, which is totally inappropriate. I thought I went to the California Supreme Court. I had to ask. Didn't I go to the California Supreme Court to get it clear that legal invoices that are for private firms, for public agencies like you all, have to be disclosed? And didn't Mr. Castro Silva, can somebody get him a cup of coffee? Seriously, this is not a joke. And, I will say, it's all about the enforcement and everything we all deal with. But it's so inappropriate in the light of day.
Excuse me, your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Linda Saldana. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Linda Solomon Saldana. I am commenting on agenda item S1 and making public comment. I am a board of trustees for the Downey Unified School Board District. I would like to bring to the attention of the board the hardship that the LA County Public Health Department's order to quarantine exposed students is having on our most vulnerable students and families. Every other county in California follows the California Department of Public Health order, which allows for exposed children who were wearing masks to stay in school and get tested multiple times over several days. This prevents healthy children from getting sent home, disrupting their learning, their schedule, their parents' work. And those students most affected are the students whose parents cannot miss work and are already behind after a year of distance learning. We have distraught parents complaining about their child having to stay home alone, not learning, children being isolated, and they're not even sick. All we want is the opportunity to follow the health order from the state, which everyone else in California has the option to do. LA County is in no worse shape than other counties in California. Our students here in Los Angeles County need a fair chance at their education to recover and to get back their social, emotional health after a year of distance learning. It's not fair that right on the other side of the 605, or north of us, or south of us, these kids are getting to stay in school when ours are being sent home to isolate and be home alone. Kids are sitting in cars all day while parents are inside at work. Kids are home alone all day while parents are busy working. The world has gone back to work, and these kids need to be in a safe place. Please leave them with us. Let us test them so we only send sick kids home. Thank you so much.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Stella Castilla. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, good morning. My name is Stella Castilla. I am a kindergarten teacher, and I'm commenting on Agenda S1 Public Health Order. I have 3 girls, a 7th grader who is vaccinated, and twin 6th graders who are not eligible to be vaccinated. One of the twins was sent home because she was exposed. On the second day of being home, she gets online work, and it says she has not turned in assignments and received 0 points. She was very frustrated and upset. I had to call the school and email the teacher. Her grade was adjusted, but my daughter did not need the stress of seeing 0 when she wasn't allowed to be in class. Just yesterday, I finally had all 3 girls back in school, and I get a call that the other twin was exposed and must stay home. This is ridiculous. How are they supposed to learn? How are they supposed to get a proper education? How are we supposed to have a schedule? I am an elementary school teacher. My husband is a manager. We can't continue to take time off. And neither of these girls have COVID. You are pushing them for being next to someone. You are punishing them for being next to someone while they are wearing masks. I don't think it's right.
Your time
that
is
you are
expired.
sending.
May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Veronia Gazaro. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, good morning. My name is Veronica Guevara. I will be commenting on S1 public health order to change the exposed quarantine to rule and match the state guidelines. My son, Jackson, just entered 3rd grade. He was sent home because there was no speeding charge on day 1 of class. He was sent home for 5 days, even though he was tested negative from COVID. He's already been at home for a whole year. Now he has to stay home for 5 more days. This isn't fair that our kids are suffering because they've been exposed but not having the virus. So we got to test the kids at school. I can't be missing work. My husband can't as well. We also have a daughter that had to stay home 2 days because she was also exposed. It's just not fair for these kids. They need to be at school with their teachers, with their friends, learning the proper way. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Lucia Pierre. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, my name is Lucia Pierre. I'm a resident of Supervisor Barber's district, and I'm speaking on agenda items 18, 19, 34, and general public comment. On 18, this motion is called Strengthening Victim Services in Los Angeles County, and I just want to say that the idea of strength, I think, is too often confused. And what we really need is to support and expand community-based trauma-informed services for survivors of harm, because real strength lies in the kind of healing and transformation that the criminal legal system is incapable of delivering. So I support this motion, and I urge the board to make the following changes before adopting the recommendations. Instead of filling People's Bureau of Victim Services, invest those funds into community-based services for survivors. Both probation and the DA's office have proven to be inefficient in actually disseminating restitution funds to survivors. So the county needs to go back to the drawing board and develop a community-based model for that disbursement. And AB 109 funding for survivors should be in conjunction with pretrial services to support survivors through the pretrial process. For 19, I appreciate that the board took a moment of silence to honor those who were killed in the suicide attack at the Cabo Airport. And in conjunction with symbolic gestures like that, the board must act to support refugees and people who supported our imperial presence in Afghanistan for 20 years and now are being left in the lurch. So I support 19. As far as 34, the OIG report on reforms and oversight efforts is just yet another solid piece of evidence for why reforms and oversight actually do not answer the demands of our community for real safety and real community-based systems of care and support. We see that there have been 7 deputy-involved shootings quarter. 2 of them were fatal. 10 people have died in LASD custody in this quarter, and there's very little information about their deaths. It's just yet another example of why we need to move money out of LASD and into community-based systems of care and support and invest in our people and our communities instead of further harm. And for general health.
Please continue. May we have the next speaker, please?
Thank you. And as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you do wish to address the board today, please press 1 and 0 on your touch-tone phone. Do not press 1 0 a second time or you will be removed from the queue.
Thank you. We will now hear the Spanish interpretation of this reminder.
Como recordatorio, para dirigirse a la Junta, si aún no lo ha hecho, presione 1 y luego 0 en este momento. No presione 1 y 0 por segunda vez o será eliminado de la fila. Gracias.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Davide B. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is David Bezant. I'm the Vice President of T-Mobile's U.S. Division supporting the public sector. My remarks are in favor of relative item 45G of today's supplemental agenda, which speaks to initiatives related to closing the digital divide in Los Angeles County. I thank you for your leadership, Madam Chair, to introduce this motion to help Los Angeles County residents improve the quality of their lives through technology. I applaud this effort. It's very exciting, and it's critical for equality and success. We at T-Mobile are likewise excited about the prospect of helping the county with this goal, and I want to extend myself and our team as a resource to the board where we are committed to helping in any way that we can. Lastly, our main point of contact in the exploratory discussions that have helped shape the contours of this board motion is Selwyn Hollins, the director of the county internal services department. I personally want to thank Selwyn publicly for all that he is doing with this board and the betterment of the county of Angelenos. Thank you for the chance to speak with you and have a great meeting.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Richard Shaw. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Supervisors, thank you for letting me speak. My name is Richard Chez. I am a private citizen, and I would like to give public comment on agenda item 45H, the unique theater. And I just wanted to call in and support this motion to investigate the to nominate and to secure the nomination for preserving the historic unique theater on First Street at Rowland. It's a really great theater, one of the last remaining theaters in East Los Angeles, and I look forward to Supervisor Solis's office once this nomination is complete, moving forward to create a collection of community events around these existing theaters, of which the unique is only one. So I look forward to the best remaining seats in East Los Angeles being celebrated. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Chris Reeves. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, my name is Christopher Rake, MD. I'm commenting on item 1D. I'm a private citizen. To vote yes on vaccine mandate is a vote for violation of human rights, medical ethics, personal autonomy, federal law, Title 21, Section 360 BBB, and the Nuremberg Code. The Nuremberg Code and federal law, Title 21, Section 360 BBB, prohibit mandating experimental treatment. In fact, violations of the Nuremberg Code are considered violations of human rights and are punishable by death. Contrary to popular belief, the Pfizer vaccine is still not fully approved. The FDA on August 23rd of this year extended the EUA for the Pfizer mRNA vaccine, but gave full approval to the BioNTech branded vaccine known as Comirnaty. Since Comirnaty is not available in the United States, only the experimental vaccine by Pfizer is available. Also, given that up to 70% of minorities are unvaccinated and don't trust the government to do the right thing because of its deplorable treatment of minorities in the past, such as in Tuskegee experiments, this bill is racist and discriminatory. With the Sherpa plan, you will be putting thousands of poor minority workers out
Excuse
of
me,
jobs.
your time has
They just
expired.
cannot-
May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Jeffery Bell. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just addressing item 1D, and I would like to address on public comment in line with what the previous caller said. I believe that social work in Los Angeles, and I believe that all vaccine mandates are racist in nature and discriminatory, as they will disproportionately affect the minority population, especially the African American community, who has a long history of being experimented on in the past. I think it's really important that we also look at other treatments. We need more research on natural immunity. In fact, we should just look at Israel right now. Israel just published a study stating that people with natural immunity actually are much more immune to the Delta variant than people that have had 2 shots of Pfizer. Also want to look at Israel as one of the most vaccinated countries in the world, and they are having one of the worst outbreaks of the Delta variant, showing that a vaccine is not a one-size-fits-all treatment. I also think it's important to look at Israel again and see that now they are on their 3rd round of boosters, their 1st round of boosters, and now they're saying that people with 2 shots are no longer immune, and that they need 3 shots to be considered immune and to be able to visit normal places. I just think that these mandates are a slippery slope. I appreciate that the Board of Supervisors is attempting to keep us safe, but again, these mandates are racist and discriminatory in nature, and I think they need to be abolished. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Ashton Bogino. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi there. Yes, I am calling to oppose item number 1, and maybe some general comments here. I don't know who any of you think you are. You are not my parents, you are not my family, you are not my doctor, and you are not, by any means, my God. So you do not get to tell me what to do with my body, nor any of my friends, nor my family in LA County. I've lived here for 8 years. I love LA, I love California, but I thought that we were supposed to be an inclusive state, not discriminatory. People who are vaccinated should be standing up. You should look at what's happening in other countries that are making these mandates. People have been rising up in France for 8 weeks, just nonstop. Nobody's going to the restaurants anymore. They're having picnics next to their open restaurants that are empty. It's really something that you guys think that you can do this to people. I'm in awe, and I heard that lawyer tell you guys that he's going to sue you, and you are going to have people that are going to sue you. It's going to come. So we know who you are. We're watching you. You guys, I know you're trying to help, but if you don't know what help is, if you're not a doctor, if you don't even realize you're lying maybe, but then that's very sad considering the position that you currently hold in office, and we're going to take each and every one of you out. We know who you are. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for helping the public and trying to help us, but please let us figure it out for ourselves what we want to do with our bodies. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
And as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you do wish to address the board, please press 1 then 0 at this time. Do not press 1 then 0 a second time or you will be removed from the queue. We're going to go to the line of Arnold Strong. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Board of Supervisors and all who have called in. My name is Arnold Strong. I'm a retired United States Army Colonel. I'm a Los Angeles native and I have retired to Long Beach. I'm also a founding board member of Veterans in Media and Entertainment, and I'm an active member of the American Legion and Post 43. For the last 2.5 weeks, I have been volunteering as a coordinating leader of Afghan evac, and I am calling to voice my support for Agenda Item 19 and in favor. And in public comment, I would like to highlight the work of Supervisor Solis and her staff in this, having deployed not once but 3 times to the nation of Afghanistan over the past 20 years, at the beginning of the conflict, in the middle of the conflict, and towards the end of the conflict. I think that everything we can do to continue to evacuate American citizens, green card holders, SIV recipients and SIV applicants, and to enable them as evacuees to have a safe harbor here in Los Angeles County, sponsored, etc., is something I would personally advocate for and open my home to. And I am voicing my opinion in support of this initiative from Supervisor Solis. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Judy Fry. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, my name is Judy Fry. I'm from Supervisor Barger's district, and I am calling in regarding the mandate, number 1, the vaccine mandate. While I am not a public county worker, I do work closely with them, and so as LA County Board of Supervisors does, likely it will trickle down to the other agencies that we work for. I've watched and done some research, and I have tried to do my own informed consent. And I've watched the Board of Supervisors, which I want to say congratulations for being all female, but all of you on this board are pro-choice, which says to me, my choice, my body. Ms. Hahn, you marched at the Women's Conference in January 2017 and said you stood proudly with Planned Parenthood. That is my body, my choice. Mrs. Kuehl, she said any manager knows that if you're trying to hire a director, you try to hire the best, the top talent, regardless of citizenship. But now you want to mandate a vaccine to me, and so the citizens who are not legal will now have more rights than I do.
Excuse me, your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
That was not a minute.
Yes, there was. Next speaker, please.
I apologize. Our next speaker will come from Marlene Matsui. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. And they've dropped. Next party will be David Vermonte. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yeah, this is David Alexander Vermonte. I'm speaking on item 1 and also general public comment. I was at the rallies. I've been at the rallies against the COVID mass vaccine and vaccine passport mandates that are trickling down and popping up. And I'm 100% opposed to all of these mandates. And I think I just want to address people that are listening right now. You guys are calling in, you're watching online, you're submitting complaints. They're not being listened to. I'm running for California governor to stop these mandates. I'm going to do something a little unorthodox. I want you to text me. I want to send you more information. My phone number is 310-906-5459, 310-906-5459. I am actively organizing affidavits, legal documents, opposition, and we are going to these people's homes. Unfortunately, that's the only place that they listen. So I was at 2 city council members' homes over the weekend, Murray Martinez and Mitchell Farrell. And guess what? They looked out the windows, they called the police, they called the helicopters. Wow, did they take notice. So please text me, look me up online, David Alexander Vermonte. This is not a game, and this circus that we're in right now, calling in, getting a minute to try to tell them why our freedom matters, is just absolutely ridiculous. Guys, this is turning into a banana republic, and we really need to unite off of social media, off of these ridiculous meetings where we get 1 minute to plead for our freedom from people that are pro-choice for abortion, but not free choice for vaccines for our children. Give me a break. Call me, find me, let's unite. I'm looking at you, I'm calling on you. Help me.
May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Zeke San Duval. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, this is Zeke San Duval from PAP, People Assisting a Home. Speaking on on items 25 and 49. I wanted to just address the supervisors and thank you for bringing the commission, the Blue Ribbon Commission on Homelessness, up for review. I just wanted to say on behalf of PATH, People Assisting the Homeless, that we are looking forward to working with the commission and the eventual executive director, and we look forward to providing any advice and guidance we can, and appreciate the supervisors paying attention to this important issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Juana Blanco. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll be addressing on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, my name is Juana Blanco. I'm honored to have affected for a HERO program. It's not is good to pay for the a fraud thing. I'm sorry, my English is a little bad.
Do you need a Spanish interpreter?
Yes, please.
You can speak in Spanish and we'll interpret after. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Mi nombre es Juana Blanco, soy dueña de casa de Covina y fui afectada por el fraude del programa P y no se me hace justo pagar por algo que fue un fraude.
Can we have the Spanish translation, please?
Hi, good morning. We'll now interpret the Spanish speaker's comments. Good morning. My name is Juan Blanco. I'm a homeowner in West Covina, calling regarding the fraudulent practices by the program PACE. I believe it's not just to pay for fraudulent activities. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Rosario Carrillo. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair and members of the board. I am speaking on item 22, addressing on public general comment. First of all, thank you to Solis, Kuehl, and Mitchell for introducing motions on guaranteed income pilots and cash programs to help our community. Now, I'd like to urge the board to please vote in favor of item 22 because the Chicanx moratorium is not only a significant historical event for East Los Angeles, Southern California, and the United States, it also engenders each year a new generation of grassroots leaders, especially among our young people. The organizers of the annual commemoration are holding the line in the community as families endure public police brutality, the pandemic, and so much more. The Chicanx moratorium is something that unites the community, especially during these difficult times. So I urge the board to please vote on item 22 in favor of item 22. Thank you so much.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Meredith Williams. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. Please go ahead.
Good morning. I have called in on so many of the different bills that are trying to be, the different efforts that are trying to be passed in regards to mandating vaccines, and it feels like we're living in a nightmare. This is not anything that America stands for. This doesn't make any possible sense that it would even be proposed or considered in our country. Our country stands for freedom, and if you are not free to decline what is injected into your body, then where is that freedom? Who on earth would ever imagine that in this country we wouldn't be able to work, we wouldn't be able to provide for our family just because we decline putting things into our body that haven't even been tested? Even if they were tested for a long time, we have the right to decline. It is neither the only nor the best way to fight this virus. It doesn't make any sense. People still after getting the vaccine, can still catch and spread it. What kind of false science are we following? We have to follow the money and see the corruption and put these numbers together and really take a hard look at the direction that we're sending our country in with all these little measures that are taking away our freedom step by step.
Excuse me, your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Mallet. No last name was provided. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general comment. Please go ahead.
Hi, hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hi, my name is
we can hear
Mallet. My name is Mallet. I'm a single mother. I have a baby and a 20-year-old daughter. And I'm opposing to the mandation for the vaccine, the mask, and all of the crap of these corruptors, politicians. If you're a parent, dad, mom, you don't care about your children, we care about our children. And we're so pissed off. I'm so pissed off. I have to see my daughter have to take that vaccine for her job because she mandated it. And because of that, our relationship is struggling right now. But you know what? I believe in an almighty God, and I pray for you all. I pray that he bless you guys so much that it will bring you to repentance. We're so upset, but you know what? God is a gracious God. I forgive each one of you, and I pray that the Lord will break your hearts to the things that break this. And I pray that you guys confess to your sins. You are killing people day in and day night, day out. You know what? Money is the root of all kinds of evil. If that's what you're after, it's going to get to your grave. And guess what? The Lord knows, and he will avenge each one of us. The justice is coming.
Excuse me, your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
In Jesus' name, I rebuke each one of you.
Our next speaker will come from the line of Sammy Lee. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. I'm calling to oppose the development and the making of public comment for item number 5. My name is Sammy Lee, a resident of Stevenson Ranch and a police lieutenant who retired as the Emergency Services Bureau Commander responsible for emergency management, including fire evacuation. I'm in favor of the appeal and oppose item number 5, the Pico Canyon Williams development. I base this on the development is located in extreme fire canyon area, frequented by windy conditions. The development has one way in and one way out to an existing community. This means well over 400 homes trying to evacuate via one street. Notable evacuation factors include the Pico Canyon Elementary School and Sunshine Day Camp. Note, California has top-tier firefighting resources, including air capabilities, owned and rented, yet each year we see historic, unprecedented fires despite our resources and fire building mitigation. What has changed since the original project was being discussed? We have seen devastating fires such as Thomas Wolf Creek Paradise and the current Caldwell fire, years of minimal rain combined with global warming. We have also seen mutual aid not having enough resources to save structures. The issue isn't the lack of fire prevention or special fire-resistant construction. The issue is building a project in dry, wind-prone canyons. The Williams project is exactly that. This project needs another access point for safety and needs an EIR to determine its impact on several areas and concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Chairperson, at this time we have no further parties in queue.
Thank you very much. Our time, as you know, for public speakers has ended. I want to thank everyone that did call in to speak, and if you were unable to provide your comments, you can still submit written comments as indicated on the agenda. And I do want to clarify, we do provide more than 1 minute for people to speak. They simply have to request the item they want to speak on or public comment, and will be given adequate time to speak. We'll continue to accept, as you know, all written comments that come in during the meeting, which will become part of the public record. With that, let's turn to item 5. Madam Executive Officer, please indicate the agenda item numbers on which we will be voting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The following items are before you: 1D, 9,